Hello everyone! Welcome to another DSP video. This is a return to Patreon. We're going to be looking at Patreon because he added 2 stretch goals. And I want to talk about these stretch goals because it's a little weird when I read it, and I want to explain why I find this weird. And I'm going to compare it obviously to other patrons as well. Um, to recap, if you want to see my genuine opinion on how he handles the goals and the rewards, check back to my old Patreon video I did. I'll put that link in the description below if you want to see my opinion on it. But in short, I think the goals that he has, like this goal should really be a pledge reward. It should not be a standalone goal. Honestly, it shouldn't, because these marathons can be a monthly thing he could just be doing, and then he would have a pledge reward that will participate within these monthly video series every month. So he'll always be doing that goal, and he doesn't have, and the $5 patrons don't get screwed over because of that, etc., etc. Like if you want to do this marathon, let's say, and you pay $5 to vote, and the goal does not get hit, you'll get nothing for $5. You get half the goal. You get half the reward if the goal is not met. But if the goal that he has right here is a monthly thing he does every month, the $5 patrons will get their full rewards every month. So it'll be more enticing for people to pay $5. This goal doesn't really work, in my opinion. I don't really like this goal. Being there should be a reward, in my opinion. But the 2 added stretch goals that he added should be the goals that he should have been doing from the start. These goals are meant to be this long thing that is going to be going into the product you're making or you're working with. Like Mega 64, your favorite people to listen to hear me talk about. They made their goals all about get stuff that they want to do. They want to write a book, that's a Patreon goal. If they wanted to do version 4, that's a Patreon goal. So on and so forth. It's so that it can go into their YouTube channel and what they do for money. It goes into what they make. So these last 2 goals kind of do that, because the things he's proposing for these 2 added stretch goals is to go into the channel he's working on and he's making. So I don't have an issue with him having goals like this. I'm sure people are gonna say, "Oh, he's begging for people to buy a PS4 Pro technically with this," and it's like I see that point, but I don't see there's any issue because he does play video games for YouTube, so I don't really see an issue with this as much. I just have an issue with the money value here. So let's get right through it. So this goal is $2,025. It's $1,000 more than the last goal, but also to keep in mind that this is also accounting for the last goal. So since basically what I think Phil is trying to say here is that since the last goal is $1,025, he can't make another goal for the same value. He can't have two $1,025. You can't have 2 goals of the same value because because if you reach that 1,025 that he claims that goes to bills, if he opens another one, he would be making the same amount of money, and but I'll get into why I think it's a little weird how he explains it and how he could have just done a better job with it. But we'll get there when we get there. If he hits the goal of $2,025 for a month, see, this is what I don't understand. Is this going to be a goal that's going to be for just this month, and then if he doesn't hit it by the end of the month, he's just going to drop it? Because these goals are meant to be ongoing. These goals don't have a deadline. It's not like by the end of the month the goal is going to be gone forever and ever. Like, that's not how Patreon works. These goals last until they're reached. They go on and on and on and on until they are reached. So he should really be keeping these goals, this one and the last one he added, until they're reached. He shouldn't be saying, "Oh, if I don't make this within a month, well, that's it, the end." Like, he should just keep these goals going because that's the point. But again, see what I mean? It really screws over this goal. It really screws it over because Um, because if he wants to add another $1,025 goal, it'll immediately be reached because people are going to be donating for these rewards. And he doesn't want that to happen because he wants people to keep paying for this amount constantly. So it kind of screws over these other rewards and how he operates it. And again, that's what I'm saying. This is why this shouldn't be a goal. If he wants to do these stretch goals, which he should have been doing, to be honest, this should not be a goal. It should be a pledge reward because it would entice way more people to donate. And yeah, I know people are gonna tell me, Theo, the whole point of Patreon is to support him, and people don't care about that. But if the whole point is to fucking support him, the goals should reflect that. Because when you pledge, you get rewards out of it instantly. Yeah, the reward might not be why you're pledging to him. That's fine. That is completely understandable. But the goal should just be for support. If you're gonna say, well, the whole point of Patreon is to support Phil and no one cares about the rewards, then they shouldn't give a shit about the goals. They shouldn't give a shit about the marathon goal that's there then. So it doesn't really make sense then, in that regard. But that's why this should just be a pledge reward, because I have a feeling, I'm gonna predict it right now, by the end of the month, if he cancels these goals, he will have to make some kind of explanation. And when he explains it, it's not gonna make sense to people. Because he can't explain anything very well. Look at the camera. Every time I try to read where the money went for the camera, it was so confusing. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. Every time he talks about this, it's this weird mystery with where the money went, and it's just like, well, where did it, like, when you're talking about money, you shouldn't be confusing. It shouldn't be confusing. I shouldn't have to sit there and think about it. It should be something that was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like when someone explained to me about the value of patrons on the site, and the value of patrons that they get on their end are not matching up. That makes sense because they explain, it's like, see, if the site says this value is there for the amount of patrons, but then on the site it says this. When I get the report from Patreon, it says I have this many, and the numbers don't add up. And it's like, oh, okay, see, that makes sense. That adds up. That explains. For Phil, it's like, well, Patreon takes the value and does this with the value. Then they do this with the value. But then when I get the value, it's a different value because I look at that value. But then they tell me this. It's just this weird fucking algorithm that he gives you, and it's like, just fucking streamline what you're saying. Make it easy to understand. Because when you're handling other people's money, they want to know where it's going and they want to know what happened to it if the goal is not reached. This is the issue with this goal, because he's going to treat it as a monthly thing, so if it doesn't reach by the end of the month, it's a failed goal, and then he's going to have to find some way to justify where this money went. But really, if he's going over the goal of $1,025, he should be really making the future goals somewhat reachable for these donations or whatever. But he wants to buy a 4K TV and a PlayStation 4 Pro, basically, and this is where it gets kind of confusing. Why is the goal set to $2,025? It's to account for my first goal level of $1,025, which is to pay his bills. Okay, that's fine. Fair enough. If I reach 2025, I'll spend the extra 1,000 on the cost of the PS4 Pro and the 4K television. Excuse me, excuse me. But this is what I don't understand. He added $1,000 to the goal. Really, from what I'm assuming from Patreon, is that they don't allow you to have goals with the same value of the last goal. So if you have a $1,025 goal, you cannot open another goal with the same amount. You can't. The PS4 Pro is $400. Okay, I really doubt. Call me insane that the 4K TV will be less than 1,000. I really doubt that. I doubt it will be less than $1,000. Gonna tell you that right now. I really fucking doubt that. But anyways, um, yeah, he could just have made this goal 1,400 or 1,900 or just 2,000. He doesn't need, like, he took the value from the last goal, put it here, and then added 1,000 to it. And that's what he's been doing with all these goals. Like, if you go here, this is for a PC, a gaming PC. He adds both the other two goals into this total with the PC included. Instead, he should just be adding the value of the things that he's getting. Like the PS4 Pro is $400. Add $400 to the goal. So it'd be 1,025. Be 425. Would be $1,425 if you add the total of the PS4 Pro. Okay, maybe some change to account for the percentage that Patreon takes. Add some change there. Then look at how much a 4K TV costs that can run gaming with the least amount of lag or delay or whatever you want to call it. Add that to the price, and there you go. You have the price. He's adding the same amount from the last goal. He's adding that. He's adding 1,000 from the last goal. Adds it and throws it in here. So he's getting 1,025 from the last goal. He's getting 2,025. So in total with those two, he's gonna get 3,000 from it. If you include the first and the second goal put together, that's $3,000. So then here it's 3,000. So again, he's accounting for the last two goals. So that's, okay, whatever. But he's adding all of them together. He could just be adding the values of the things he's buying. Like he should look up the equipment it takes to make a PC a gaming PC. Look at the parts that are required. Add that to the price of the goal, not add all the goals together and then add what you think is going to be the amount, because he says that the amount of money that he got here is an estimate that he got for making a gaming PC, including tax and shipping. But I don't know how well he researched that. Is this money the amount? Like, he said that the gaming PC will cost roughly $1,725. That's roughly how much the gaming PC will be. But is this the money that he sees when he gets all the parts together, or is this like, well, it should be this price? I can't imagine it being any higher. Like, I don't know if this is just a random estimate that he got out of the top of his head, or if it was actually researched. Because if we look back at the PS4 Pro, he says he believes that the capture setup would work with the PS4 Pro, at least at 1080p, but there is no way to tell until I own one. If not, we'll have to explore a possible workaround later. Why not just look it up? Why can't you research this? Because I'm sure the PS4 Pro is already out, people own it. I'm sure people know the answer to this question. I'm sure there's answers to this already. I'm sure if he looked online he could figure out if it can do that. But he isn't until he gets the console himself. So basically, the worst case scenario with this is that he reaches the goal, he buys the 4K TV, buys the PS4 Pro, he sets up he sets it up, and then he finds out he can't do it. So all the people who spent money to get him this, basically threw their money for nothing at this point. They basically bought Phil a 4K TV and the PS4 Pro just for him. At this point, if this doesn't work, I'm willing to bet it will. I'm willing to bet that it will capture at 1080p or whatever. I'm sure it will. There's no way it can't. But he should be looking that up. He should be researching this. But he isn't. He's taking money to get a PS4 Pro and a 4K TV at the risk that it might not capture at that? Like, why not just research? Why not look it up? You're not gonna research to see if it will capture at that? I mean, come on. You're handling other people's money and you can't bother to research if it can handle doing this? You're not gonna fucking do that, Phil? I'm sorry, but that is a little irresponsible of him to take people's money to buy a PS4 Pro and a 4K TV, and he's not willing to even bother to look before he gets the money if this will work. He's not bothering doing that. This right there should really get people a little bit heated about it. People should be really telling Phil that he should be looking this up before he gets the money. Because no one, I can assure you, no one would want to pay money. It's like, look at it like this. I say, guys, give me $1,000 and I will get a new computer that might work. It might work. It might not work. I'll be able to capture stuff on it, but it might capture or might not capture on it. So you really have to think about it. But if it will work, it's great. I won't know until I get it. So give me your money. Are you gonna fucking give me $1,000? Like, it's more like if I tell you guys, hey, give me $5 and I might get you. I'll get you French fries at McDonald's, but I might get it. I don't know if this McDonald's is open right now. It might have closed down. I don't know. I don't remember, but I think it's open. So give me $5 right now, and I'll go. And I'll go and I'll go find it out. If it's not, well, we'll figure something out. And then you give me the $5, and then I go there. I'm like, oh, McDonald's is closed. There's no McDonald's, dude. I can't give you the fries. But the money's my money, okay? You gave it to me. You see how fucking shitty that would be? I mean, of course someone's gonna say, oh, it's only $5, but that's not the point. The point is that people are gonna be paying $2,025 for him to get a PS4 Pro and a 4K TV, and he doesn't know if he'll be able to capture at 1080p, at least 1080p. He's not sure. He's not sure, but he won't make sure. He won't research. He won't look it up. He won't go on Google and see if other people have explained that you can or can't. He's not going to do that. He's not willing to do that. But he'll find a possible workaround, guys. He'll do that if it doesn't work. But he should be figuring this out before he gets the money. That's why I'm very skeptical about the 4K TV he's gonna buy, because I've heard that 4K TVs have a very huge input delay. There's a delay with 4K TVs. I mean, I know there are some that might not have that delay or as bad of a delay, but you probably would have to research a lot of TVs to find those TVs. I'm sure you have to look far into it to get a TV that's perfect for gaming. But it's Phil. You think he's gonna do research on what TV to get? He spent $3,000 on a lemon. He doesn't know if the PS4 Pro will be able to capture a reasonable quality for his viewers. He doesn't know that yet. He didn't do any research about that. He's also he's asking fans to build him a PC that they're giving him money for. So you think he's gonna find a good 4K TV? I mean, he might. He might surprise me, but I'm very skeptical because we've seen him with money. We've seen him with research. The fact that here he says he doesn't know if it will capture he doesn't know, he's unsure, and there's no way for him to find out until he gets it? He can find out by just doing basic research. Like, I'll do research for him. Can the PS4 Pro capture at 1080p? The PlayStation 4 Pro's share functionality will capture screenshots at 4K. Sony has revealed the company also confirmed will record video at 1080p at 30 frames per second. For reference, the base PS4 model is limited to 720p. So it can capture at 1080p from the PS4 itself. But let's look at here. Let's see, look at all this research I'm doing for you, Phil. I'm doing research for you. So last week's Sony unveiled 4K market. You want to know the games look? So they captured 1080p game. They're able to capture 1080p. So if you're still if you're still on a standard 1080p HD TV, the benefits of the PS4 Pro are subtle. You're not going to get the same kind of visual pop as the game's 4K and HDR. Don't expect your jaw to drop. So on and so forth. But see, like, right there, the first thing you see right here, the first thing is that you can capture at 1080p at 30 frames. I'm sure that's to capture through the PlayStation's own share functionality. So if the PS4 Pro can stream from itself at 1080p at 30 frames, I'm pretty sure OBS can capture at the same quality. But again, he doesn't know. He doesn't know this. He's not doing any research. He's gonna find out when he gets it. How is that fair for the patrons? People and again, I know someone's gonna keep telling me, Theo, it's about supporting him. That's true. You probably don't care if you bought a PS4 Pro and you won't see the benefits or you won't see him use it because because you won't be able to capture it. Sure, I'm sure, but it's still kind of shitty. I mean, the thing I'm trying to get at with this is that if you're trying to if you want to support Phil, that's fine. But it's also okay to be critical of this kind of stuff. Yeah, you may not be completely heartbroken if he doesn't if he doesn't use the PS4 Pro in his videos or whatever, but you spend $2,000 and $25 for him to get this. It's okay for you to be like, wow, dude, I'm fucking disappointed you can't do this. I mean, you really should have looked this up because it's not the patron's responsibility. And I'm not saying that it's oh the patron's fault or this and that, but if Phil is trying to ask for money to get this stuff, the least he could do is basic research on this. He could have at least done research on this. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you guys need to stop supporting him because he doesn't know about this. I'm just saying is that you don't think that maybe he should have figured this out before making this Patreon? Before making this stretch goal, you don't think that he should have at least made sure that he could have captured it at 1080p? Like, that's what I'm getting at, is that he's doing these goals with very little research and only on hunches. He shouldn't be opening goals. Like, that's why, again, like, I've said this also in the past, like, I've been thinking of making a Patreon. I've not opened it yet because I'm not sure. I would never want to open a Patreon on just a hunch, like, oh, I think I found the best Patreon service that I've figured out. I figured it out, guys. I'm gonna just open it and then find out, like, down the line that it fucking sucks. I don't want to fucking do that. I want to make sure that if I open a Patreon, I want to make sure that I don't have shit like this, where it's like, I don't know. I have a hunch that this would be worth it, but I don't know. Like, it wouldn't be fair for you, it wouldn't be fair for me if I have a Patreon goal. I mean, yeah, it's to support me and this goal is to support him. But again, it's his responsibility to make this goal great. He should really cover all his bases, or at least as much as he can. I mean, granted, I'll give him one little point for telling us this, but he should be researching that. He should be looking this up. Like, yeah, cool that you told us that you don't know, that there's a level of uncertainty with this, but you could be doing research about it. You could look it up. There are people who have a PS4 Pro and are streaming games from it, and you don't think that this issue has been answered? Phil, please do some research before you say things like this. If you have this level of uncertainty, don't wait until you get the money to buy these things to find out. Figure it out immediately. Go on Google, go on YouTube, find articles, look it up to see if you can do this. Don't say that you're gonna find out when you get it. I mean, yeah, again, it's fine if you want to support him. That's not what I'm trying to deter people from. But if he has these uncertainties, he should at least be looking it up. He should be researching this. And that's the thing that I'm mostly upset about. I mean, I know I brought this up and I was going to go a little bit in depth with this, but I mean, it is what it is with that. But to say that I don't know if this works, and he wants to get the money and find out if it works or not, is kind of lazy and irresponsible. It's irresponsible of him to do that. Like, yeah, the Patreon money is to go to him, to support him, sure, but he needs to find out if things will work when he makes these goals. Like, it's just, that's the point. Like, when you look at, like, iFi's, Patreon again. See, she's not she's not doubling these goals. I mean, she only doubled this one, but again, if you make 500, chances are you're gonna reach it to 1,000. Chances are you're gonna reach it there. But like, let's look. Like, she'll share how I go about with things, my art, such as coloring, how tos, and so on. There's no like, well, I might be able to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to, but we'll see what happens. Like, she didn't say that. Like, she knows if she's able to do that. Um, where else? It says increase streaming. She's not saying, well, I might be able to stream. I think I'll be able to stream with the setup I have. I don't know. Or like, like here, it says that she'll get a more reliable video recording editing software so I can make complete time-lapse videos and so on and so forth. But she's not saying, well, the editing software I think is good. Fucking phone. And this fucking telemarketer. Fucking insane. But as I was saying, she's not saying like, well, I might have a good editing software. It might work, it might be good. No, she's like, oh, I'll get a more reliable one. So she probably has one in mind. She probably has something that she researched. But again, like, it's she makes she has 1,570. She makes that much per month. So chances are she's either gonna hit this eventually, so she's probably just researching more into that to get a better understanding. But here, there's no research going on with this. Same with the PC. He's gonna ask fans to help. So he's not doing any research on PC, on parts, or anything to build a good PC. He's waiting until he reaches the goal, and then he'll do the research. That is so irresponsible with that money, because then he'll have this money sitting there, and you're gonna tell me that that's not going to get him to spend it, maybe? Like, because again, like, if I'm asking for money and I get like $1,000, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna do this, but if I get the money, I'll research it. It's gonna be very hard to fucking have that money sit there in front of me and be like, I need to research. Like, I don't know. Like, it's very, very weird in that regard. But that is it for this video. I think it's a pretty good one. I hope you enjoyed what I was saying. If you want, and again, if you want to support Phil, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to say don't support him. I'm not saying, well, these goals suck, so don't support him. I'm not saying that. If you want to support him regardless of these goals and all that shit, that's fine. I'm not saying to just stop. I'm just saying that, maybe you should just be looking at what he's asking, and and just maybe asking a little bit more from him. Asking him to like not do shit like this where he's unsure of things. Like, that's all I'm saying, is that you should really ask for some responsibility with your money that you're giving him. That's all I'm saying. Like, he should be responsible with your money. If he's paying it for bills, that's fine. That's fine. He's saying that the money that he makes on Patreon goes to his bills. That's completely fine. I'm not saying that, oh, this is wrong, this is bad, but I'm just saying that you should just be a little bit more critical when you see things like this, because if you're not, then he'll be able to do more sleazy goals and get away with it, because he'll be hiding behind the defense of, you're just trying to support me. So he can make a goal that says, I'll be able to sit down on a chair for $12.50, and then people are gonna spend that much money, and like, well, I'm only spending it because I want to support him, but the goal was for him to sit down on a chair. Like, that's all I'm asking, is just that, if you're going to be giving money to support him, at least, ask for some responsibility with your money. That's really it. Again, I have no issue with people giving him money. I have no issue with the 241 people who donate to him on Patreon. There's no issue with that. I'm just asking that these people look at what they're paying for and really ask themselves, do I want to give him $2,025 or give the money to that level to a guy who doesn't even know if he'll be able to capture at that setup? Like, do I really want to give him money for him to buy these things and for him not to know what he's buying? Like, do I really want to do that? Do I really want to contribute to these bad habits of his. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that you should really be looking at this and asking yourself, are these goals really great goals? Are these goals worth it? Yeah, if you're buying to support him, these goals are not going to really be a big deal, nor the rewards. But you don't want him to start having these lazy goals. You don't want him to start having these goals that are just kind of lazy or whatever. Because if you're gonna start getting lazy with these goals, then he's gonna just start making sleazy things. Like, look at iFies. She tries to make all these goals something worthwhile for people. She makes these things here. I mean, it would be very easy for her to just be like, just give me money for, like, her very first her very first goal was to more time to do live streaming and to pay the bills, basically. Like, that's basically what these are, is so that she can do stuff. One of them is to even, like, do art full time, whatever. But she's trying to make these goals and these rewards something that people would want to pay for, so that they can support her and get something out of it. She works for these goals. All these goals tie to what she does. Same with Mega 64's goals. Their goals go into what they do. They're like, oh, we'll do more videos. We'll put more effort to these videos. They'll put, like, they already put a lot of effort in their videos as it is, and now with Patreon, they're like, we'll put even more stuff going on. We'll get more actors. We'll get, more video series out there. This and that. They have these things that they want to do, and they're using Patreon to fund these things. So, yeah, it's fine if you want to support him, but, you really don't want him to have goals and rewards where they're lazy rewards. That's the issue, is that these rewards are lazy. Every other Patreon I've seen had something to do with making more of something, doing something, adding something to certain things, adding better lighting equipment, better equipment for videos, this and that. That's all been their goals. I've seen people, like, there's goals for just getting camera equipment. There's stuff that people do that. And his goals should not be lazy ass goals. They're just give me money and I'll do this, but it's to support me. Like, that's not a good excuse to donate to him. Because, like, yeah, you can support him all you want, but look at the goals. Ask them, are these goals worth your money? Do you want to support a guy that gives you these kind of lazy ass goals? No. Like, I mean, as I said, these last two goals, these added goals, can work. They're fine goals for what he does, but he needs to do research for these. He needs to know if the PS4 Pro can work with his current setup. He should be researching that before he gets the money. That's what I'm saying. He should know these things before he has them as goals. Like, it's like if Mega 64 said, "Oh, if we reach the version 4 goal, we don't know if we'll be able to make it into a Blu-ray or be able to release it on streaming. But if we reach the goal, we'll find out." Like, no, they found out before. They looked at the money that they would have to pay for. They looked at the time frame that they were using. They looked at all these things that they were doing. And that's why they made it a goal, because they looked at that kind of stuff and they know immediately what they're going to do with it. You can't have a goal and not know what to do. You just fucking can't. I'm sorry about that, but it's fine you want to support him, but you can't be okay with him making these goals and not know what he's doing with the money. You can't say, "Oh, I'm only supporting." It's okay he doesn't know that the PS4 Pro can or can't capture at 1080p. That's fine. It's fine for him to find out later. No, it's not okay, because this is lazy, irresponsible behavior on his part. When you have a Patreon, you really want to look professional and responsible. This does not look professional or responsible. It looks irresponsible to me. I would not feel okay with donating my money to a guy who doesn't know something he could easily research. No. I know right now I'm a little worked up about it, but I'm tired of people hiding behind, it's just to support him. But if you're gonna support him, know what the fuck you're paying for. You're paying a guy who doesn't even know something he could easily research. Easily. I just showed you how easy it is to research that. I did a Google search. The first thing I see is talking about capturing at 1080p. Be it from the console itself, but I'm sure you can deduce something from that or do some more research. And he can't fucking do that! Really? You're telling me that this is a guy you want to support? A guy who doesn't even know something that he could easily research? Well, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. I know I got fucking heated in this video, but it is what it is. See you next time before I go even further. Later.